I think it's like 99% true.
Okay, I only ask because there have been reports in the past that he's been killed.
Right, exactly.
But this time...
But yep, it looks more serious this time.
Okay, and let's go to the Middle East because there is breaking news today. The IDF says the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, may have been killed in an airstrike in Gaza. Now, this man was the architect, we are told, of the October the 7th attack, and it's understood he's been hiding in the tunnels underneath the Gaza Strip for the last 12 months. Tal Schneider is political correspondent at the Times of Israel. So, Tal, is this a rumour or is there a degree of truth in this? What do you know at the moment?
It's not just a rumor. There are some photos that running around on website or WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups that show the body, and it's high likely him. I've seen the footage. It seems to be unmistakable. Yet Israel's IDF say they will have to conduct a DNA, affirmative test. Just to let you know, Yahya Sinwar was a murderer who sat in Israel jail. He was convicted for murdering Palestinians, and he sat in Israeli jail for 20 years. During that time in Israel jail, he underwent head surgery, life-saving head surgery. So the jail and Israel's medical authorities have his DNA
Right.
and head, jaws and head. So they're looking for this confirmation, but I think it's like 99%.
Okay, I only ask because there have been reports in the past that he's been killed.
Right, exactly.
But this time...
But yep, it looks more serious this time.
Okay. Now, can we just determine whether or not this man was the architect of the terrible attacks of October the 7th? What do you know about that?
Oh, we know plenty. It was not just the architect of October 7th. For many years, all of the attacks on Israel, including the 2014 war, all of the rockets attacks, all of the kidnapping of soldiers, even before 2023, everything was conducted by him. He is the head of the Hamas worldwide, and some of the people that were kidnapped from Israel, elderly people. He came to visit them in the tunnels a year ago. He saw them and talked to them. So, I mean, he is the head of the operation of the entire thing, the big architect of this massacre.
So let's assume then that it is indeed him. What happens next, Tal?
Yeah, wow, it's huge news. It's changing everything. Let's hope for the release of the remaining hostages, 101 people who are still held in the tunnels. He was one of the obstacles for conducting any type of agreement, a ceasefire, because the Qatari and everybody else from what we call Hamas, that is out of Gaza, they wanted the agreement and he kept stalling it and avoiding it. So maybe now we can have a real ceasefire, maybe getting out the hostages and maybe pulling out of IDF from Gaza.
Yeah.
That would be a really amazing outcome, I think, for everybody.
It absolutely would for everybody in the world. Everyone horrified by the events of October the 7th, but also horrified by some of the devastating scenes that we see in Gaza and the very real suffering of so many people in that part of the Middle East. Do you believe then that any kind of negotiations on a ceasefire might already be underway or could be underway soon?
I think they're waiting for confirmation for his death. I think, and I'm saying it with cautious, Israel may send out the photos of his remains in order to prove to the people inside Gaza that this is true, that this is not just, a rumor. You need to, you need to show the people. And they may, from what we hear, we don't know anything yet, but, they may suggest to those who are holding hostages, some sort of immunity or something in order to get the hostages out. And then you can go on with pulling out of the IDF forces and so on, and maybe get Gaza, as you said, get Gaza on a proper path for reconstruction and better life. I hope so.
Well, if those images are released, they will, of course, cause some people to celebrate. Other people will be devastated and upset, and those images may well act as a very powerful tool to recruit more supporters to that Hamas cause. Surely that's a real danger.
Now, let me just tell you, we think that the Hamas, the people in Gaza, the civilians, most of the population, were also kidnapped by the Hamas. Hamas had the tunnels for many years. It did not never let them hide in there. People were terrorized. You see images and footage of Hamas killing Palestinians people inside Gaza as we speak. And as I said, Yahya Sinwar was sitting in Israeli jail for murder of Palestinians, of Muslims. So this end result may release many people from the horror they're living under him.
Is there anything new coming out of the White House? For example, has there been any reaction at all from the Biden administration to this news today?
This is so new. It just happened in the last hour. So I mean, it's early morning in United States. I don't know anything yet.
But I mean, this presumably will have been one of the IDF's aims to kill this man. If they indeed have killed him, is this one of the aims now achieved? So possibly we might begin to talk not just about a ceasefire, but more than that, about how to achieve a lasting peace in the region.
Well, it's too early for me to tell you anything about that. We're still in the wait for the confirmation, and as per other things, Israeli government is quite stubborn. I can't tell you what's the plan ahead. Mr. Netanyahu the prime minister did not produce any type of the day after plan as he was requested many times from the White House and from many other world leaders. Would you expect him to come up with a plan right now? I certainly, as an Israeli citizen, I think he should. But to tell you the truth, I can't really predict, what's on his mind.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're voicing there the frustration of, I think, many people within Israel who...
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not a lone voice there. People are desperate to know what is the Israeli end game here.
Oh, you must know that in Israel, there is huge criticism on the prime minister for many things that has been going on before the war and after the war. It's not, it's a free society. It's a democracy. There is voicing of a highly criticism on the way he's conducting things.
I really appreciate your time this afternoon. It must be very busy. Thank you very much. That's Tal Schneider, political correspondent at the Times of Israel, on what appear to be now more than rumours that the IDF has indeed killed the leader of Hamas.